Hey, what's good, fam? It's Tuesdays with Tawana. Yes, it is Tuesday. We are ready to chop it up on today, building community one episode at a time. I am Reverend T, Dr. Tad, your host and your curator for Tuesdays with Tawana, where we gather every Tuesday at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, where we have a dialogue about what's going on in our world, in our lives, in our community. We laugh, we cry, everything in between for 30 minutes. We chop it up so that we can build community together. If you're here joining for the first time, welcome. If you put comments in, if you make comments, I will insert your comment into this narrative because this is not about me talking and speaking for the entire 30 minutes on my own. It is truly about building community. So please feel free to say what's on your mind. As Brother Jeff Fard from Denver would say, one of my favorite people, this is a free think zone, so we do not censor your comments, whether we agree or disagree. It's learning how to be in dialogue and build community. Yes. My baby is on bed rest and she's in the building, so she is able to join for the first time in a long time. So y'all send some love and some prayers to my big baby who is expecting a little baby. So we are so excited about that. Hey, Julie, glad you are here today. Glad you made it. What's up, Tony? I'm glad you're here. Good to see you. Can't wait to chop it up. Sis, call me. Call me today, later on this afternoon so we could chop it up, okay? So glad that y'all come through for me every Tuesday. I love it. Today we are continuing part 2 of Honk for Jesus. We started talking about it last week. We're going to continue to talk about it this week, but we're going to shift it a bit. Hey, my beloved brother, Larry is in the building as usual, one of my biggest supporters, and of course he's my big brother. He's always been my protector and always my ride or die, so I am so grateful. So today we're going to talk about Honk for Jesus part 2, but we're going to shift it a bit because one thing that my intention, and we're going to talk about intention versus impact. My intention is to create a space for community. My intention is to create a space for healing. My intention is to create a space where we can insert our voice into narratives that are often that ignore us or try to silence us or marginalize us. We are using our powerful voices in this narrative to change, to make change, whether it's personal, internal, whether it's relational, whether it's communal. This is what we are here to do. Hey, Miss Brenda. Oh my goodness, good to see you. Yes, my Eastern Star family. I love it. Good to see you. And last week when we were talking about it, and I didn't post it yet as a podcast, but I am going to post it after this conversation so people can watch that before they watch this. But after the broadcast, when we were talking about Honk for Jesus, there was church hurt, um, and I'm grateful that I was able to have conversations with folk to release, to pour out how they experienced exactly what was in the movie. We talked about different aspects of the movie, how Regina Hall or Trinity in the movie ended up being the center of this mockumentary, parody, satire, real talk, um, whatever you want, whatever it was for you, and how Lee Curtis was an example of some leadership, whether it's leadership in a Christian church or leadership in other religious establishments. This is real for some. For others, hey, Mother Carolyn, so good to see you. Looking forward to your comments and your input as well. Um, and how it was real for some, others were frustrated, and some walked out of the movie theater, some posted on social media, this is trash. And I used this space, curated this space so that we have a voice and we use our voice, and sometimes we'll use our voice and we'll learn something new. We have permission to make mistakes, but the point is that you use your voice and you learn from what you say and what you do, because it's not always perfect, right? So there was one comment that just said, you know, honk for Jesus, and then 3 trash cans. And this person is a prominent leader in community. And I was taken aback by it, because this person leads current pastors, future leaders in the church, and it's important to use discernment. I would never silence a Black person. That's for community, that speaks life. I'm going to come at you or come back or push back if you are demeaning or degrading or oppressive, or using white supremacy language or capitalist approaches, or, judgment, demeaning others because of their situation or circumstance. But I really thought that this person in a leadership position has every right to not like the movie. Absolutely. I just think that that comment ends up hurting others who saw the movie and was triggered by it, or hurt by it, or saw some truth in it, or experienced it firsthand. And if you say that the movie is trash, then you might be saying or creating a space where now you're saying that my feelings are trash, that what I think and what I experienced was not real and trash. So this is where we're going to talk about impact, intention, and impact. But let's see what some folk have to say. Mother Carolyn, yes, it was very real, and unfortunately, we have been taught to protect the church at all costs, regardless of how it has hurt many. And sometimes we protect the church through denial. We're so used to, or some of us are used to, going into these communal spaces because our families are a part of these spaces. Our children were baptized. We first, gave our life to Christ, or, in other religious forms, whatever it is in that moment, to change your life, or to give your life, or to convert, or to now study and follow we put so much value into that, we forget that we are human beings having this experience. But we really should be spiritual beings having a spiritual experience, which offers an opportunity for us to honor those and to insert dignity and to have hard conversations when somebody is doing something to hurt someone else, like standing at the pulpit and telling women to lose weight or to wear makeup, and maybe you'll find a man very patriarchal, very cisgender, heteronormative, you know, misogynistic, misogynoir, the disdain for black women, period. And then you're telling me that my thoughts and my feelings are trash because I experienced the movie differently than you? No bueno. That's not how we build community, especially from people who are called to lead. Darylyn says, I need a pastor. If you can't say amen, say ouch. Just say ouch, people. There were lots of ouch moments, and that's okay. We heal after the ouch, but it needs to be acknowledged and nursed. Well said. And you said, I heard a pastor say. I'm sorry, I heard a pastor say, if you can't say amen, say ouch. Because in that acknowledgement, yes, Darylyn, it's the healing. You got to acknowledge the hurt in order to move forward. We hear a lot about, oh, pastors wouldn't do that, or we sweep it under the rug, or we turn the other way as if it's not happening. And it's happening. Like domestic violence is happening in our pulpits. The mistreatment of women and sexual improprieties are happening in the pulpit, and it is happening in the congregation as well. And it takes on a different turn when it's happening from leadership, because we are following leadership, which is mistake and mishap number one, when we should be following the Creator. We should be following the Most High. We should be following what the teachings are versus putting all of our faith into a person that is flawed, that is going to make mistakes, that is going to make decisions that may not be best for community or for themselves and their family. Mother Carolyn says, I have served with one who was just like Lee Curtis in the church, upheld his position and the detriment of, and the detriment of, and to his detriment and the detriment of many. Because remember, in the movie, Lee Curtis kept saying, they're coming to see me. They're coming to see me. They're coming to see me. And they're not, well, some were. And what we have an opportunity to do is come and experience the Most High. Come and experience the God in me loving the God in you. Having the experience of having the courage to call out those that are going against building community, loving and honoring one another, allowing our flesh to speak louder than our spirituality, allowing our flesh, because we don't know what to do with our sexuality. We don't know what to do with all these feelings because we don't talk about it in the church. We don't talk about same gender loving couples because we'd rather demean them and then go behind closed doors and sleep with same gender folk. We rather demean those who are abusers and in domestic violence situations, because you go home and you emotionally, verbally, physically, financially, spiritually abuse your partner. So you're saying one thing because you're Lee Curtis talking about they coming to see me. So I need to be perfect. I need to make this happen. I need, they love me. They miss me. And the other church down the road is doing their thing while you are so concerned about you. And the fact that forgiveness, he never, ever either repented, confessed, asked for forgiveness. And what I love the most, one of the things I love the most about the movie, and I think his name was like Khalil or something, when he didn't accept the offering, the money, the buyout to keep silent, and he confronted the person that hurt him. And how often do we have a chance to confront the person who hurt us, or to present it in a way where we keep ourselves safe, but we still call out the person that is causing hurt and harm of a person or persons or parishioners or a community? And I'm guilty. I was one who sat there and listened to the bishop talk about demean and degrade women and talked about money. All he wanted to do was receive an offering. And so I've, experienced all of that. When do we have the courage and the opportunity to say something and to speak truth to power? So let's see, who am I missing here? Yes, Mother Carolyn said, Darylyn, well said. Look who's in the building, Regina Groff. Any leader who walks out of the theater or turns it off is triggered and needs to explore why. Unfortunately, to the detriment of their members, many church leaders avoid doing the work emotionally and care for self. As a result, their congregation remains uncared for. Well said, my sister. Well said. So let's talk about intention and impact along with that. Let's talk about that. There was in an article from Everyday Feminism. I'm a womanist. It doesn't mean that I don't read feminist work or look at some feminist writers. And it tells a story about someone was in the park. They were playing frisbee. Someone else was walking by, and the person with the frisbee, threw the frisbee, and it hit the person in the face, and the nose was bleeding. Their nose was bleeding. The person was visibly upset, and the person refused to apologize because they said, it wasn't my intention to hurt you. My intention was to play the game. And it says that, being sarcastic, I'm sorry your face got in the way of my frisbee. I never intended to hurt you. Sounds absurd? Yes. So, people who over and over again, you hear comments like, I never meant any harm, or that was never my intent, or I am not a racist, or I'm not homophobic, and I'm not sexist, and I'm not this, and I'm not that. And it says, can I tell you how often I've seen these people attempt to deflect criticism about that oppressive language or actions by making the conversation about their intent. But the conversation is about the impact. What about my impact? This is why I do what I do for domestic violence awareness, because we're so focused on the intention, which is the abuser, versus the impactful, hurtful nature of what's happening to the victim. And we cause more harm to the victim by further victimizing them, further hurting them, further demoralizing them, by not believing them, by making them move, by making them hide out, by causing fear into their lives. So the intention is one thing, but let's talk about the impact. Let's talk about the intention of pastors talking about, I just want to save people. You can't save nobody. You can impart words of wisdom. You can show love. You can show forgiveness. But that means for everybody. What gives you the right, with all your self-righteous indignation of intention of wanting to save somebody, while you're degrading and demeaning and having sex, same gender loving relationships, which is beautiful, but you are doing it in a way where you're hiding it. And then you don't even learn from it. It's one thing to make mistakes when you have intentions and the impact ends up being something that you never intended. So an apology is, I am sorry I hurt you. I am owning that. Even with my intentions, I am owning the fact that even with good intentions, I hurt you, and I am sorry for hurting you when I said X, Y, and Z, so that it doesn't happen again. It's not an apology when you say, oh, I'm sorry if I hurt you, but that wasn't my intention. Selfish, self-centered, arrogant, self-aggrandizing. What about the other person that you hurt, whether it was intentionally or not? We got to look at the impact of this movie, that I'm sure that Jordan Peele and his whole team knew exactly what they were doing when they promoted it as this comedy, parody, mockumentary, satire, but had some real issues that the church needs to face and discuss and begin to change, because it is hurting people. It is sneaky. It is dehumanizing. It is horrible what we are doing to the people. We are asking people to give their last dime when they don't have food in their refrigerator. We are asking for money. We're putting profit over people like the government. We rather have somebody's lights turn off and say, God will take care of it. Just give us that $100. Just give us that tithe, and then you will be taken care of. And what happens when that doesn't happen? Then the people are mad at God because you put it on God, because your intention was never to put it on yourself, because you wanted your money, and then you put the rest on God to do the rest. Intention and impact. Hey Jan, good to see you. I'm taking a breath. Taking a breath, taking a breath, taking a breath. Oh, Brother Pettis. Oh, good to see you. Okay, let me read your comment. I'm convinced that the stated intention is a lie when you are not horrified by the impact of your actions. Let me just put that up one more time. The stated intention is a lie when you are not horrified by the impact of your actions. It's a lie. The movie is a powerful statement about the corruption of power. Preach, Brother Pettis. Brother Pettis is like is family to me from Denver. That's my Denver family. I'm grateful. I'm teary eyed because I miss y'all. I miss y'all dearly. Whew, let me calm down. The church must face it to fix it. As long as it is acceptable to uphold those who are doing wrong, the hurt cannot heal. Darylyn said, I believe the movie's intention was to bring people to a space of dialogue about the performative nature. About the performative nature of our spirituality. That's it, and that is all. Little girl said, I love theater, LOL. She sure did. When she fell out, she said, I love theater. And I don't think the creators should apologize for it. Absolutely, Darylyn. I said it. I meant it. It's the truth. And may the truth set you free. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. There is liberty. And sometimes truth hurts. Not in a way to hurt you, to demean you, to kill you. It is to hurt so you can heal. To hurt so you can learn, because the path that you are going down is going to cause further hurt and destruction. So I'd rather tell you the truth that you may not really like, and it might even be hurtful if I call you out, Pastor, and say, if you are homosexual, be who you are. If you don't want to be married to your spouse and you want to be in a polyamorous whatever swinger relationship, that's you. Be honest. As Richard Pettis said, your intention now becomes a lie. The writers should not apologize and ought not apologize for telling the truth. Oh, if Audre Lorde's quote doesn't ring true in my spirit right now, if I don't define myself, if I don't define who I am for myself, then I will be crunched into other people's fantasies and eaten alive. We have to define and be truthful with who we are. I read an article from Deepak Chopra about people being deemed good and how there's a struggle between defining good and bad people. Just like right and wrong, I try to be careful. I'm not perfect. And these are, my feelings. Sometimes, I have to describe it as good and bad, right and wrong. I try not to, because there's so much more to this binary thought, right? Either or. Sometimes it's a both and. And I truly believe that in this movie, I can't say what the pastor, but he's such a good man, and then watch him sexually abuse 5 young men. I can't say that the police are good people when they are killing Black and brown beloveds because of the color of our skin. I will not insert that narrative, because who you show me is who I'm going to believe. And if you can kill someone because of the color of their skin, or to kill someone on national TV and not budge, or to shoot someone while they are sleeping or playing in the backyard or jogging, or driving in a car or protesting or in a domestic violence moment and you shoot the wrong person because that person is bigger and more intimidating to you or darker skin, I cannot say you had good intentions. I cannot say with assurance that that's a good person. They just made a mistake, or they went down a different path and you know, they didn't know any better. Cannot. So here, when we talk about intention and impact, I want to leave us with a note of healing. When something and someone is impacting us in such a negative, heinous way, we must speak up and speak out. And namely, it's not that it's easy for me to say it, but I'm also speaking from a perspective of a domestic violence survivor, where there were times when I was fearful to speak up until finally I had a village and a community that helped me and protected me and believed me and journeyed with me. So when we talk about intention and impact, when that impact happens, that adverse impact, it is important to have community around you so you can speak up and speak out and stop the systemic ills that are happening to us, even in the church, even from leaders in the community. We got to call them out, call them in. I'm not here to change you. I can't change anybody. But what I can do is speak truth to power and pray that something that I've said inspires you to do differently, to treat your community in a loving way, in a non-judgmental way, in a way, hey Shirley, in a way that you are seen and you are loved. Hey Reverend Gloria, good to see you. That impact I offer to you is what we should focus on. I don't know someone else's intentions. Just like Brother Richard said, sometimes that intention, when they say what their intentions are, it's a lie. And it hurt me. So instead of focus on the person that did the hurting because of their ill intentions, let's focus on the person that was hurt so that we can go back and hold that person accountable for the hurt. Does that make sense? Because we're centering the one with the impact, with the intention, instead of the one who was impacted. So if we focus on the one who was impacted and we begin to do healing and we begin to come together as community, we can then go back to the one with intentions, ill or otherwise, and call them in or even call them out and say, this is what you did. Regardless of your intention, this is what the result was. So what are you going to do about it? Not we, like what we's going to do, massa. No, what you going to do about it? Oh, you need help? We can get you help. If you truly and intentionally want to be, you want to repent and you want to heal and you want to become whole and you don't want that to happen again, forgiveness is available. Love is available. And it may not be in the same community, because I tell y'all often, I don't ever have to see my abuser ever again. Don't want to see him ever again. But what's in my heart, I don't carry this disdain in my heart anymore, because my story, I'm first of all grateful that I'm alive to tell it. And I'm grateful that I'm able to tell other community members about it, like me too, because we don't want to have to deal with this alone. It's hard to deal with it alone. It's hard to step to leadership alone. It's hard to call people out alone. It's hard to call people in their heinous ways and call them out. That's why we need community, because there's strength in numbers. And when I know I have the support to call somebody out or in, it's on. Loving ourselves moves us forward. And let us not hold on to the blame of what has happened. Let's hold that person who hurt us accountable. Communities can make us brave. Yes, Julie. So I offer you to be brave, be courageous, and let us build community, brave communities, beloved communities, beautiful communities, forgiving communities, communities that will fight together, fight against, laws that are being passed that are taking our rights away for our own bodies, things, lack of access to healthcare. Let's fight. Let's vote. Let's testify in front of the Senate. Let's do things. Let's build our own. We talk about this all the time. Let's build our own. Let's take care of our people, because if we wait for somebody else to do it for us, clearly it's been 400 years. It ain't happened yet. I'm a hopeful and optimistic person, but yeah, it's time for us. Yes, Reverend Gloria, brave, courageous, and free. And free. Liberate ourselves from the systemic ills and the intentions, the ill intentions, overtly, covertly. Let's address those ill intentions, whether it is knowing that they're ill intentions or the result ended up being a hurtful impact. Learning how to be accountable and holding people accountable, and then watching the change happen. Because some people don't know what they don't know. And so we must tell them. And then it's up to you to either do something about it or stay in your ill-intended ways. But then be very clear, there are consequences to that, and those consequences will happen because you will no longer hurt my black and brown beloveds. No more. No more. I love you dearly. I love you dearly. So let us open up our hearts, our minds, and our souls to be connected spiritually, to receive what the Most High has for us, to heal us down, to journey with us down toward healing, and in the midst of healing, so that we can build beloved communities together, and we don't have to deal with the heinous ills that are killing us, mind, body, and spirit, intentionally or otherwise. The impact is dreadful. It's killing us, and we want it to stop. I love you dearly. I'm grateful that y'all continue to join me on Tuesdays. So we'll see you next Tuesday. We'll see what we'll chop it up about next Tuesday. But in the meantime, be safe, be well, love yourself, take care of yourself, And I'm so grateful that we can build community with Tuesdays with Tawana and Dr. Tad, one episode at a time. I'm out. Peace.